This is day 575 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Like a sponsor coming to share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please comment directly, be very greatly appreciated. They are doing some Shin Lamed Ches Vav, the Shin Lamed Ches. Tes Vav. Somebody has fruit at the top of the roof. From a touch body sees rain coming. Also, Shashlam Shabbos Labais. He's not allowed to put them back down, put them down into the house through a skylight, an opening in the roof. You're allowed to take fruit down this skylight on Yontif. A little bit Shabbos, but not on Shabbos. You should not be Shabbos because it's a lot of work. It's not for the purpose of Shabbos. But you're allowed to cover them with tarps, something like that. Even though there's some toil requiring that as well. They allow it because of the loss, potential loss. And an olive with fruit, which is suitable to eat. Even bricks, shehem muktzim, which are actually muktzah. You're afraid that the rain is going to dissolve them. So you'll have to cover them because of the potential loss. He says here in the Mishnah says, now to move them, even if you don't have what to cover them with. Obviously, they're muktzah machmas gufo. Back to the Shulchan, that those who forbid also carrying them, covering them in their hefs because of the potential loss. I'm sorry, I went back. Some people forbid covering the bricks, and even peros, even fruit they forbid. We should come into because any type of toil is also if it's not for the purpose of Shabbos. That's a Magen Avraham named Yamshel Shlomo. You go like the Beis Yosef, who says that even by bricks you're allowed to cover them. You take to put a vessel underneath dripping water. That's no matter what the opinions. When the vessel is the barrel, whatever it is, fill up. You can spill it and put it back in its place. And so where the drip is at least the water dripping is at least suitable for washing. It's similar to Erevin, where water which is suitable at least for washing is not a karpaf. Mishnah Berurah says if it's suitable for an animal to drink, that's sufficient as well. Then you're allowed to carry the vessel with the dripped water. It's not suitable for washing. They are murky waters. Also, because you're now to put a vessel underneath such a drip. You're canceling the keli from its purpose because it's going to become forbidden to move. When it gets full, it's going to be disgusting to him. Then he will be allowed to spill it out like any graf sharei, any container of excrement. Now to make a graf sharei deliberately. So therefore, you're obviously not going to be able to carry it, and therefore and you're about to the kli from its proper purpose. But let's say you went ahead and did it anyway, even though you're not supposed to. Put the vessel under a drip, which is not royal lechitza. And he's sitting in that vicinity. It does become like graf sharei, and you are allowed to remove it. We can't put it back because let's make another graf sharei. That's why there isn't a great loss in that which is dripping from the roof. Has a gutter, but if it's a great damage, tell me that's a gutter. You made a grafshari even the if you need to save yourself from a great loss. He said, but it says brackets I'm betul shemati lechatchila. If you must have the Yeshma lo plig the dino, Duke and Sham, Luke, I'm not sure what this is referring to. In any event, the Mishnah says, if it's the place where he's sitting doesn't mean the place where he's sitting just by coincidence. It means the place where he normally sits. So therefore, it's repugnant. You can't go sit down next to the barrel and say, "Oh, this now that I'm sitting here, it's repugnant. I have to move it." Chayyim says, you can rely also. You can rely on the tour. Okay, the tour says, "I know that becomes tzar. The tour is matir lechatchila. It's not really being samech on the tour if you're doing the tzar gadol, because that means it's kind of like a b'diavad already. So I'm not sure what the Mishnah Berurah means by this. Be as it may. Shilmamates ein rochim vein shatim vein betapchim vein donim lo makadshim lo makdishin v'odinim. You can't ride, you can't swim, you can't clap, you can't judge, can't marry, you can't something make something hektish and other halachas. Of enochim agabe behem, you're not allowed to ride an animal Shabbos. You're not allowed to do use an animal in any way on Shabbos. Even the sides of an animal, like a tree. I would see it, but the sides of the sides, mutter. It's a mitzvah. Guys, Bardi made it shin shin ches shin shin lavav. Show these bar received tezvadim. Oh, behemo, you read me out. He went up on an animal. You should go immediately. It's not like a tree. But they find him that he has to sit there until dark. The behemo is the Torah. I'm sorry. Yeah, but the behemo is the Torah. She's mental because the animal, there is the Torah prohibition in making an animal work, and if it's going to carry you riding, so it makes it work. It's making work. She can be as opposed to a tree. I ain't sham. Subsequent shila above be allowed to be lan chazak mutar li sha'ain. We learn Rafa asur. We explained back then that if it's a strong tree, you're allowed to lean on it because it's not going to move it. If it's a soft tree, you're not allowed because it's going to move it. So Yerushalmi Perkei the Beis Ayin Sham. Beis. I feel like Yerushalmi by Yerushalmi Sham. There come an Acheres. Seems that there's another interpretation there. The law lava Yulankai. It's not going an animal. Ella Adam. It's going on a person. The person, is he kasher or is he what's the word? Chazak or Rafa? The Chalik makes you tashkoach, makes you ba'koach. Distinguishing between when he's weak or when he's strong. A healthy person, when he leans on an animal or on a tree, he's only leaning a little bit. He's mostly standing his own steam. It's not called using the animal or the tree. Opposed to a weak person. He's leaning totally on a tree and on the animal and on the tree. Awesome, that's forbidden. And even the healthy person is only permitted when he's leaning a little bit. Not with heaviness. With all his strength. This is what Yerushalmi says. Those who say you can lean on an animal. Those who can say you can't lean on an animal. The man said that one opinion which shows that you can lean on the animal, or it is bibori. It's a healthy person, strong person. That's Arukh HaShulchan's interpretation. The other interpretation would be bibori, a strong animal. Because the opinion holds that you can't lean. It's by somebody who's either by somebody who's weak or when the animal is weak. There's another scenario there. The opinion holds you can lean, but the mistamech sivchar, person who leans only a little bit. The person who says you can't lean, the koibesh es kvedo, when he weighs down with his weight. A strong leaning. Stand by the boat tell you about a healthy person. Stand keep us MS lalacha. Both these scenarios are true lalacha. And adam chalush, therefore a weak person, asa gamri l'shalom beim, can't lean on any animal. But the ilan, and that's true about a tree as well. But a bari, a healthy person, mutar b'shalom is allowed to lean a little bit. Not with all strength. Chen halacha. It's halacha. Sounds there, I guess it's about smicha on the base hamikdash. You can't. That the only time it is usher is when you are using kokocha, which is what they did by smicha on the base hamikdash. Poskim lo eskim is that cloud. Poskim don't mention this at all. It's in the Arukh HaShulchan. These old rabbanans. Daled ain't shatin al pnei mayim. Because I've never seen somebody lean on a tree on Shabbos, but according to this, if you lean but not with kokocha, and it's you could stand on your own, you're not weak, and you're also the tree is a strong tree, then you can certainly lean on a tree on Shabbos. That's what comes out from this halacha. God ain't shatin al pnei mayim. You can't swim on the face of the waters. Because you might make a barrel of swimmers, like a flotation device, to learn how to swim. If the river is not like a courtyard, but like generic rivers, which are carmelist, there's another prohibition. Maybe when you're kicking in the water, you're going to spray water outside the foramos. You already wrote that somebody washes in the river has to be careful not to allow the water, not to push water, kick water more than 4 amos away. And that's why by us, it is not to wash in a river on Shabbos and Sham. They didn't forbid you to swim in a vessel, like a bathtub. If it's in a courtyard where there's no possibility of you moving water outside Daled Amos in the Carmelist. I mean, it's not in a courtyard, so that's because there's potential of going Arba Amos in the Carmelist. The Biur Law writes, it's not sure it's also true, so Rabin. Not sure why. Okay, a swimming pool in the courtyard is like a bath. It's not like a river if it's fully has a rim all around it. Because even if the water gets uprooted, the rim puts them back in their place. It's not like a river where the water gets pushed out of it. It's like a bathtub, a large one. And they make a decree that you might come as a result to make a flotation device. The decree lo shayach zeh. By a vessel, such things are not relevant. Therefore, if the pool does not have a rim, but it's even with the land outside of it, even though it's surrounded on all sides, it's still like a river. Because when the water gets uprooted, they go outside the pool, come up a nar like in a river of and you begin swimming just like in a river. It's amazing. The Arukh HaShulchan. Arukh HaShulchan comes out, you're allowed to swim in a swimming pool on Shabbos. Not allowed to swim in a river or anything which is like a river. But a swimming pool which is like a bathtub, you could swim in. I don't think Am Yisrael, there's no way to be lenient about this. I remember I read in the Silver era, about Reb Eliezer Silver, that he allowed a certain JCC in Cincinnati to open the swimming pool on Shabbos. It was considered to be a bold move. But here we see. There's such an opinion, the Arukh HaShulchan. Wow. Okay. Hey, because I've been able to say some Vav. Also, on the sheep and my dover low, slow, let slow. Person not allowed to swim in the water, in order to bring something from himself or bring something to himself. Therefore, if there are little sticks on the surface of the water, also you can't push them to here and there. In order to clean the water, it should be good. Like I was journal. Just like you're not allowed to float yourself. You're not allowed to cause something else to float on the water. Obviously, the vessel will be permitted. Because we said already, you're allowed to swim in a vessel, like we said. This is Mordechai, Mekor Ushalmi, Ushalmi Shom. Excuse me, the Ushalmi seems to conclude that's mutter. Dim Lishasiya mutter. If it's for drinking, it's permissible. Like you're allowed to break a vessel in order to eat the dates inside. You're allowed to move the sticks in order to drink from the water. Moshe asked the same question. It says, Lo Kasha Klum, it's not difficult. It doesn't contradict the previous Isser. You don't want to drink now. You can't push them aside. If you want to drink, it's permissible. I shop. It's not a bunch. Maybe it says it low Meyer because he says about he doesn't want to drink. It's clear that he mentioned drinking. Okay, brackets. Who He said explicitly, so in case you don't want to drink now. You want to clean them for later on. Shabbos, it's interesting because it's borer because you're removing the psoiles, which is the sticks, from the oichel, which is the water, because you have to do the opposite on Shabbos. Vav, finally is borer. It already has been clarified. Simon Reish Memches between Knisas Fina Kohen Shabbos. We already clarified when you can enter a boat before Shabbos. Abu Shabbos Shitush also Knisas Fina. On Shabbos it's obvious you're not allowed to enter a boat. The time she's borrowed shop. For the reason that you're explaining there. But when the boat is adjacent to the shore, it's standing on the seabed or on the heart of a riverbed. Then it'll start to cloud and it's not floating at all. We'll take a place, allowed to go into it. Start going into a house. Even if it's floating. But it's tied with a strong knot to a pole or to a bridge. Those are like is done with boats which are in port. You can also go into it. Share ain't a real shoot boat. You can't float on it. As long as it's tied up. The the Gemara Yeshet for a time to go into a boat to sleep there. Where the boat is on the ground. And you can do this even though he knows that later on the non-Jewish owner is going to come and use it to float to the other side. To have a Rama base in the Rabbanon. Ruses in the Rabbanons. Go ahead. It's a Rabbanon last say Tamacham knows that when Lee let me do this under these circumstances is not something they would let me do necessarily on a normal basis. But you know, din some Rabbanon. Wow, pretty kiddush. Or says no din of some Rabbanon. We have no din of Tamacham for this purpose today. Wow, we're nothing. We're not even Surah Rabbanon, which is like a Talmud, a younger Talmud Chacham. That's depressing. There are those who allow this for a great, when there's a case of great damage. To go across to a boat on Shabbos. There are those who started on this. Those saying they forbid it. Magen Avraham requires, here it says brackets, it's double knotted, the boat, and it's okay. Says, I don't know why. The Mishnah Berurah says that it has to be one, I guess is interpreting like Avraham, has to be a strong knot at the top, which is on the boat, and a strong knot on the land. I don't know what that would be otherwise. Anyway, further by day is on Shita the Shari. By some rules, if it's a hezek gadol, it's permitted. Because it's not. It's a heter. It's a hezek gadol heter. If you rely on people are lenient, then you have a tree to hang yourself from. You have a legitimate backup. Mishnah says, but if it's outside the tchum, you can't be making it all, right? Because you can't go outside the tchum. The mitzvah of Eretz, also so too for a mitzvah which is going to pass, its time is pressing. Those who want to be lenient. My Boris going ferries. A ferry boat is like a ship. Zayin, you can't clap, you can't slap, and you can't dance. The simcha l'shir is done for joy and for song. Mishmur says whether it's also if you're doing it because of avelus or out of anger to arouse your anguish, not just for simcha. I think Arukh HaShulchan mentioned in the previous simon. Metapkin zelahakos kafokaf. Tapkin is the clap, and sapkin zelahakos kafalerach, slamming your thigh. For rikud raglaim, dancing with the legs. Ba'atam he says since normally these things are done to accompany music instruments. Never just they make a decree on musical instruments Shabbos Yom because might come to fix them. They ask these things because they are relevant to musical instruments. Even to knock with one's finger on the ground or on a tablet or achas mitzvos connected achas mitzvos kederech ha-mishorim. It means like this. Not sure. I think that's what it means. Okashkish goes to tinok, or to rattle a nut for a child, for a baby derech shir, or lischokbo, bezuk kadeshishtok, or to play with him with some sort of triangle or some sort of simple musical instrument. No, should be quiet. Kol zeh usher. All these are forbidden. So you come to fix musical instruments. Sabi klachariyad, to clap klachariyad. The mutter is permissible. Kach goes to Chachamim, so are the decrees of Chazal. Okay, the Mishnah Berurah says if a person claps strenuously in order to wake up his friend from his sleep, sound the Magen Avraham, that's permissible because it's not derech shir. But Rashi says, so also in this case should be machmir. That seems to be the Magen Avraham, what the Pri Megadim says. I think on the Veckers, people wake up the students in the dormitories in the yeshivas. When I was in yeshiva 40 years ago, more than 40 years ago. 40 years ago. So then they used to go through the halls in the morning clapping. On Shabbos, he wouldn't do it because of this. Bialocha says that this is specifically clap. What? What's going on? Okay, I guess when you're making sounds, Bialocha says that specifically to clap on one slide, but to use a rattle, anything like that, which is derech shir, doesn't have work to do with klachayad. It's not an answer. Okay, that people they slap slap their knees and they dance today. But we don't protest against them. Because it's better that they should do it as a shogeg. That is amazing. Some people say today everything is permissible. Can't make exactly my fix musical instruments. It's not prevalent. And perhaps for this reason they were lenient by everything. End of the Ramah. Mishnah Berurah Sharatzin, right? The which says lenient on everything. It's not everything literally. It's going on clapping, slapping one's knee, and dancing. And even in this case, it's not worthwhile to relinquish a minhag, the minhag not to do it, if it's not a Mocha Mitzvah. Mocha Mitzvah, some people say it's mutter, and others argue. Then Minchas Elazar says, I think I saw this in Chavadas many years ago, that really the Isser is only for Misnagdim, because they only clap and dance for their own Hanoah. But Chassidim who clap and dance to Shem Shamayim, there was no Isser upon them. Okay, so be it as a main. The Arukh HaShulchan says, this is astonishing. Tying the strings of a harp. Shchiche, tuba, is very prevalent. And so to roll it on, I guess, pegs. They like a guitar. You roll that. It's interesting. That's called shemitakin klishir. So you roll that peg until the tone of the string of the guitar is correct. All these things are the risas, not the babatish. Well, no, sorry. Mishum kshira, mishum takimona, because of tying and because of fixing. B'yashrash be'ervin. For the chayil batel shus rabbanim netam imelo, and of course you can't allow these shus rabbanim because of these reasons. So tomorrow we'll have to see what the reasons, how the Arukh HaShulchan justifies this, and the Mirz Hashem I will tell you about a radical Moshe Feinstein, which justifies it as well.